This is Julien, and I'm here with Alexi Panos. I'll put a link to her information here below. I highly recommend checking it out. And what we thought we'd talk about today is our obsession with perfection. You know, it's like we need to be perfect, live in the perfect house, have the perfect lifestyle, be perfect in our achievements, basically just everything. And although on the surface, this can sound good, you know, it's like when people hear this, like, yeah, well, what's wrong with aiming to be perfect? You know, that's what pushes us to grow. In reality, if you dig a little deeper, it's extremely unhealthy. It holds us back. It stifles us. We're pretty much a prisoner to perfection. We play not to lose instead of playing to win. And the more we do this, we kind of lose touch with our uniqueness, I'd say, and we just keep holding it back. So, yeah, I thought we could dive into this. This is something that I personally see a lot, you know, just in terms of clients, in terms of teaching, say, dating advice. A lot of people just can't put themselves out because they want to be perfect. Like, that's the root cause. The question I get all the time is, what's the right thing to say? Do I look okay? What's the right thing to do? Like, this obsession. I would have it as well, you know, either in terms of putting myself out there or even younger in terms of playing music. I played music, guitar since I was 8, and every time I try to record a song, I'm like, oh, it's not perfect enough. It's like I just needed it to be perfect. And at the end, like, there's so many songs I didn't put out because it wasn't good enough.
You've got like 5 albums in you.
I know. Like, literally, it's like so many. And even funny enough with YouTube. And I mean, I experienced this. I still do occasionally, but especially in the beginning. I mean, I have so many videos I just didn't put out because it wasn't perfect.
Oh, man. I got that too. And it's so funny. One of my videos I actually wasn't going to put out. Like, I was like, no way, I don't like it, the lighting's off, the sound is off, I didn't like how I said this, I was nitpicking everything.
Yeah.
I put it out because my editor didn't get the video of that week to me in time. So I was like, shit, it's my only video I have. I put it out and everyone was like, hands down, that video hit home, that video changed my life. And it was a reminder for me, I gotta keep getting out of my own way.
Yeah, yeah, and people love it too. Because we think everyone wants to see something that's perfect, but when they see the more like human side of it all, it reinforces it to them like, oh my God, like all these other people are just like me. And it's like that breath of fresh air amongst like the uptightness and stifledness of perfection.
That's it. Well, you know, and I used to be a major perfectionist. I call myself a recovering perfectionist because the tendencies still pop up here and there where I'm like detail oriented and looking at everything. But the crazy thing is perfection is completely unrelatable because nobody's perfect. Nothing is perfect. Relatable is humanness, is messiness, is I'm not sure, I'm still figuring it out because we're all in that space. Like I've spent time with Richard Branson at Necker Island and I asked him tons of questions. And the one thing he told me was, I'm still figuring it out. And I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know? That was such a big aha moment for me because I look at him and I'm like, oh, Richard Branson, you know, he knows everything. But he's like, I'm still figuring it out. And the more I meet people who are just killing it in our eyes and in my personal view, yes, they might be killing it in certain areas, but they might still be figuring out what a good relationship looks like. Or yes, they may be a superstar with branding, but they're figuring out how to have balance in their life. And we're all human, and perfect is just like, it's an idea that has no answer. Yeah. Because like you said, your clients are like, well, what's the right way to do it? Well, I don't know. Who are you talking to? You know, like the right way, if you approach me, might be totally different than if you approach Karen. Because Karen's got her own way that she likes to be approached. And for me, I'm like, you better come real, you better come messy, you better come honest. And Karen's like, I don't want to see any of that. You know?
Yeah. No, it's big. And I like that too. You mentioned like looking up at, say, successful people. And I call it like peeking behind the curtain. Because we all get sucked in by the front. And we're like, these people are superhuman, they are gods, they have no flaws. And even in our comparison, we shoot ourselves in the foot because we're comparing the worst features that we know of ourselves to what we assume are their best features. So we're losing all the time. We're like, they're always disciplined. They're always on top of it. What's wrong with me? So even like seeing them fail, seeing them like the human side of them is like, they're like me. I can do this too.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
It's huge. And it's so funny because perfection and vulnerability, right? So human beings, we actually are looking for vulnerability when we're meeting people. And when we don't feel a level of vulnerability, we go, I don't know, something about that person was off. Or, oh, they seem, I don't know, there's something that I just couldn't get past. When someone's too perfect, you're instantly like, nope, something's off. They're not showing up as who they are. But the catch-22 is we do the same thing. So we're looking for vulnerability and we're looking for honesty, but we're not willing, in most cases, to show up that way because of the fear that we're going to be too open, too susceptible to being hurt. But in actuality, when we show up that way, people are like, oh my God, you're human too? Awesome. Now I can be human. And then instantly you bond, and the relationship takes off, no matter what kind of relationship it is.
There's this book actually called The Gifts of Imperfection, and they talk about that. Yeah, I know. They're like, and I love this. It's the distinction between, striving to be better or being a perfectionist. And it's like two questions. When you're striving to be better, the question you ask yourself is, how can I improve myself? You're doing it for you. You're doing it for the sake of bettering yourself and, improving. The perfectionist is, what will people think of me? And that's the real reason. And it kind of goes hand in hand with people pleasing, where, you think you're being nice, but in reality, you're being nice in a way to avoid dealing with negative emotions, or you're being perfect in this case to avoid, say, people judging you, as you mentioned, or you showing who you really are. So it's this full front that we kind of put on. It's like, if I can be perfect, live perfectly, and do everything perfect, no one will ever judge me.
Right. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
I used to think that, which is why I can laugh so hard at it now, because I genuinely used to think if I had the perfect outcome in my business, if I had the perfect things in my life, the perfect clothes, the perfect partner, the perfect look, the perfect weight, I mean, my God, the list goes on. I thought I would be happy. And the funny thing is I would get that idea of perfection and it still wouldn't be enough. Because then once you get to a new level, you meet new people that are doing it at a higher level, and you start comparing yourself to them.
Yeah.
And it's incessant, and so insidious. It never stops. It never stops.
Yeah.
If you're constantly projecting out and comparing, you'll never be good enough, ever, ever. So we've got to start here and accept ourselves first.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was actually, YouTube was a big one for me that helped me with that. Because what I would say is, with perfection, you have like this image in your head. And then whenever you see the real you, like you look at yourself in the mirror one morning, you're like, oh my God, like it doesn't live up to that image. That's when you feel hurt. And in a way, that's what stifles you. It's like, well, I'll just never put myself out there because I don't want to feel hurt. Like I remember there's some changing rooms. Like this is how bad it was for me. There were some changing rooms in clothing stores where there's like the mirrors all around. Yeah. And I could see some angles of myself. I just hate it. And I'm like, I cannot go in those changing rooms.
You're like, why did they put that mirror there?
I know. It's like, I do not want to see that side of myself, and I'd rather block it off. And it was the same with music, where, again, I had that vision of the song in my mind, and what I did never lived up to it. After a while, I'm like, well, I'll just hold it back. And with YouTube, being forced to put myself out there and watch myself on camera, God, there were so many videos. I'm like, oh my God, like just hating it. But it forces you to really acknowledge like who you really are and those real world results versus the fantasy, which is like ego-based, so on and so forth. So for me, that was a big part. It's like just fully coming to terms and being honest. Like, okay, this is me, accept it, versus hanging on to, no, this is who I could be, or this is me, and like, playing those little fantasies there.
You're touching on like a massive thing right there. It's something that it's been topic of conversation, and I've been writing a lot about it lately, is real life feedback. Like feedback is your friend, and life is constantly giving you feedback. If it's the mirror at the store, or if it's your YouTube videos that you're looking at, or if it's your friend that's going like, dude, I've had enough of the way you show up in our relationship, or if it's the 5 ex-boyfriends or girlfriends who all break up with you for the same reason, your life is constantly giving you feedback, and sometimes it's ugly and painful to look at, but you gotta look. And when you start to look, it forces you almost to be humble and to get honest about where you're at and where you want to be. And again, where you want to be is not perfect. It's excellence. Like for me, I gave up perfectionism for excellence. I strive for excellence everywhere in my life. And excellence does not mean perfect by any means. It means always striving to be my best. And that is constantly changing every day and every moment, depending on who I show up as. But feedback is so critical, and we get, as human beings, we get to look at all of it and go, okay, don't like that, don't like that, don't like that. That's really ugly. That's painful to hear. That sucks, but it's real. And if enough people are calling you a cow, you better move. You know what I'm saying? Like one person does it, you're like, maybe that's your opinion about me. But if like 10 people are doing it, they might have a point, and it might be something to look at. And I've met so many people, and this, I'm sure it used to be me, that have this, they're living in the fantasy of who they are, and they're living in this idea version of like, oh no, I'm a good person. Oh no, everyone loves me. Oh no, I'm really kind. And yet, you know, we're sitting out to dinner and they're snapping at the waiter who's done nothing. You know, it's so insidious, but it's so crucial that we look at our lives and go, okay, what's the feedback I'm getting? And just get honest and let it hit you, like let it land. And it may not be pretty, but it's your starting point.
Yeah. And getting that feedback too, or making even like different mistakes by trying stuff, that's what allows you to grow. And as you said, strive for that excellence versus remaining stuck.
Totally. You know? And that's the thing too. I love that you brought up the music because I was watching a film. I forget what it was, but he was a documentary filmmaker and he's been working on this film for 10 years. It was Ben Stiller. You know, he's like, oh yeah, well, my film, it's not ready yet. I've got to get one more interview and I've got to do this. And I just resonated with that so much because that used to be me. Even my YouTube videos. I sat on making YouTube videos for, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And literally it was because I was afraid of putting myself out there. That was the root, right? But I had all these other excuses. Oh, well, I don't have the proper equipment yet. Well, I don't really have time to dedicate to weekly videos, so I'll do it when I have time. Well, I don't have an editor yet, or I've got to learn how to edit, and I've got to buy mics. Well, maybe I'll do it when I move to LA, because then I'll have better light. And I had every excuse under the sun. But really what was under that, the root was I was afraid of putting myself out there. I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid of being vulnerable. I was afraid of being honest. I was afraid what people would say. And now I'm like, screw it. You got an opinion? Awesome. Everyone does. Yeah. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because that's what I'm committed to, regardless of what you think or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely went through that as well with the videos. And actually, I managed to get I released this very first one. I was in Prague. And at the time of releasing it, for like a split second, I'm like, this is actually perfect. Like I managed, and as soon as I put it out, I hate everything about it. Like it's so bad. Yeah, but I like that too. It's like the putting yourself out there and being okay with disapproval, because that too. It's like we hang on to this, I don't know, like mythical reality of like everyone liking us all the time, and not realizing that it's not natural. You know, it's like we all have different opinions, we all have different preferences. And that's what makes us human. That's what makes it interesting. So even that idea of perfection, because it depends on everyone's perspectives, there is no one truth that's perfect. It's like it's different for everyone, and kind of getting used to that disapproval. That's a big one. It's instead of remaining afraid of it and doing everything you do to avoid it, because it's really a life of avoidance, being a perfectionist. It's slowly start putting your true self out there and realizing like, hey, it's not that bad. You know, you can live with disapproval. It's not the end of the world, and you don't have to have this phobia of those negative emotions.
Totally. And what that is too is like, as you said that, what popped in my brain was death of the ego. Like when you're putting yourself out, your ego is the one that doesn't want to die. Your ego wants to be perfect. It wants to remain safe. It wants everyone to like it. And when you put yourself out there in any way, whether it's on YouTube or in business or with dating or whatever, your ego is at risk. Yeah. So your ego's like, stay safe. We have got, you know, by all means necessary, we've got to stay safe. And if we let the ego win, we'll live a small life. We'll play small. And Preston, my fiance, and I have been playing with this a lot lately. We've recognized that what's kept us small in the past is the resistance to the ego death. And if you're playing a big game anywhere in life, like if you want the love of your life, if you want the business of your dreams, if you want to create something that no one's ever created before, if you want to stand for peace and happiness and love or whatever your thing is, if it's that big, you better be ready for some opposition. You better be ready for your ego to get purely annihilated day in and day out. Because if you're not getting annihilated, you're not playing a big enough game, period. And Preston and I recognize that was like our upper limit, our ceiling was like, whoa, we had a resistance to just full blown, like, let's do this. And now we're stepping in full blown, let's do this. And it's coming, but we've got a different relationship with it now. It's not a death to the ego because it's not about us anyway. And it's just an interesting shift, and it still sucks sometimes, but it's like, you know, just being honest with it is so freeing too, because like I can share about it on Facebook or on Instagram and talk to my tribe about it without it being embarrassing. It's like, yeah, here's what I'm going through. Here's what I'm up against. And people are like, oh my God, me too. And it's like, all right, great. We can have real conversations now instead of pretending to have it all together.
This actually brings up a few points. Like one, and this is something I say all the time, even to clients, the more personal, the better. It's like, stop trying to put on a front if you try to be anything that you're not, you're always going to be the poor man's version of that. You won't
Totally.
feel good. And even too, like, what's worse than being quote unquote rejected for you is only being accepted when you're pretending to be someone that you're not. So that, like,
Oh, no.
fuels you no matter what.
For sure.
So it's like
For
personal.
sure.
Yeah. And what you said too with contributing, it's like, you know, you're there, it's like, okay, I want to inspire people, say for love, peace, so on and so forth. When you're contributing and you're coming from that place of, this is me, I'm offering personal, you know, unique value, you're not so much concerned about the judging or all the bad things that could happen because you're focused on contribution. It's when you're trying to take something like, will this person's opinion of me reinforce that image, that there's doubt, there's fear, and you actually feel blocked. Yeah.
That's a huge point. Like, that's a game changer right there, that
Yeah.
point. It's like, yeah, if you're really up for the vision, if you're really serving a vision and a mission, all the opposition won't matter. Because if you're still, like, you can make a video and 2 people could see it and one of those people could hate it, but you still served your mission. If you were out to inspire one person, you won. But if you're sitting there focused on the one person that's like, I hate you, you're terrible, this is awful, then it's like, you've lost.
Yeah.
Because now you're going to start making content. And Preston and I talk about this all the time. People are like, your music's too loud. You move too much. You don't move enough. Your music's too soft. I can barely hear you. Everyone's got an opinion. And if I was like catering to this person, then this person would be mad. If I was catering to this person, then all these people would be mad. And a good friend of mine who's a men's coach said this to me, and I love this. He said, sometimes you're a peach and you're like the juiciest, most succulent peach on the planet. And like peach lovers look at you and they're like, yes, this is the holy grail of peaches. But there's people out there that just don't like peaches. And you could be the best damn peach in the world. They still don't like peaches. They might like apples or bananas. So if you try and be an apple for an apple lover, all of a sudden you're disowning all of who you are. And that person's still never going to like you because you're still a peach.
Yeah.
And it's like, that hit me so hard. I just got chills saying that again because, and he heard that from someone. I don't know who to credit for that, but it's so amazing. And I remind myself of that all the time when I'm facing opposition. It's like, I'm not for everyone. And I get that, you know, and I'm okay with that. But the people I am for, just like you, the people you're for, you're going to like nail it home for them because you are so for them. You're speaking their language. And for those that aren't, I just say, hey guys, if you don't like it, there's an unfollow button. It's social media. It's kind of an opt-in thing. So if you're not a fan, bye.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, it's true. And being okay with it. Like, I tell clients this too. It's like, you're going to have chemistry with people, and sometimes, you know, it's not because they're bad or even because you dislike them. It's just there's no connection. And for people too, it's like, whenever we get disapproval, we're like, oh, it's because they hate me. But not necessarily. It's like, when you meet someone new, sometimes you just connect and vibe. You just click. Sometimes you meet someone new and it's like, it's just not there. And it's not they're a bad person or you dislike them. Just there's no connection. And that's fine. And we read into that. And another one too, especially with YouTube, is when someone sees another person, say, being real or contributing or putting themselves out there, either they'll be inspired, but at the same time too, there can be that resentment because you're kind of shining the spotlight on the fact that they're not doing it. So that inspires the criticism, and then we take it to our, you're like, this is, yeah.
Totally. Anyone who's criticizing anyone is speaking from their own hurt.
Yeah.
Like, period, point blank. So anyone who's on any video out there, and I used to do it, like not out online, but you know, just in person, like, oh, I don't like what so-and-so is wearing. I remember a moment where I saw this woman wearing this crazy outfit to me, right? It was crazy. And I made a statement about it and then perpetuated a conversation with my girlfriends about it. Nothing like nasty, nothing mean, but it was just like, oh, I don't know, like that's kind of crazy. And we perpetuated this conversation for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then the next day it hit me where I was like, I was mad because she's free. She was free. And at that time, this was like 10 years ago, I was not free. I was totally concerned with making sure people thought I looked a certain way. And I was mad at her because she was free and I wasn't. And I got so clear about that. And it was just like, whoa. And it was like, where else do I do that in my life, right? Where else am I pointing the finger and judging and having an opinion about something because I'm not okay with that within myself? And it totally is. It's like spotlight, mirror, look at yourself. Wherever you're pointing blame, there's something within you that gets to be worked on.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And that's even more on the practical side, for anyone watching, it's like notice where you criticize because it's always reflecting something inside of you. And ideally, it's try to nuke all criticism. Like just stop criticizing and just accept everyone for who they are. Because even criticizing someone else, if you want to get a little more deep or spiritual, it's reinforcing that they're, cut off from us in a way. It's like, oh, those people are separate when you can just kind of embrace everyone. Yeah, exactly. Us versus them versus us and them. And, once we're like, hey, we all belong, there's no longer that front you have to put on just fitting in and being perfect. You belong no matter what.
That's it.
Yeah.
And criticism, too, is interesting because it's such a beast for ourselves as well. Like, I know people who are amazing and they will not criticize a living soul, being, or plant on this planet, but they're so mean to themselves. And that's like such a hard one because I catch myself in this all the time. It's like I can be so in my excellence to the external world and living from a place of, okay, that's your assessment, this is my assessment, that's your truth, this is my truth. To be so understanding and accepting of others, but like myself, sometimes I am so hard on myself. And I know I can speak that for my girlfriends and my guy friends. And it's crazy because, really the way we get out of it is practice. We have to always be willing to catch ourselves and be willing to go like, whoa, pump the brakes. You're worth more than this. You know better. And again, it's the ego self-preservation that's telling you all these negative things to keep you small so the ego doesn't have to be put on stage and be made fun of. Mm-hmm. And I have to keep reminding myself personally about that because it's a practice. It's an ongoing practice. Maybe someday I'll get past that, but currently I'm still in that practice.
Yeah.
So, it's something that we all get to look at for sure.
It's true. If you look at yourself in the mirror and then like write down or verbalize your thoughts, it's the meanest things you'll like ever say to anyone in your life. It's like, look at you, it's so bad. Yeah.
It is. And it's really sad too, because I do a lot of work with young women and it's so crazy how young women are just soaking up all of these messages from everywhere and we get advertised.
And they're so contradicting too, especially for women. It's like, hey, dress sexy for your man. But hey, if you dress sexy, you're a slut.
You're a slut. It's like, what? Yeah, totally. And these young girls, especially between the ages of like 8 and 12, where they're starting to come into who they are and create their identity and figure out what they like and what they don't like. Now they're barraged with messages from social media and they're flipping through and everyone's life is perfect and it's filtered. And it's now they've got like Photoshop on your phone where people are making their waist this small and their butt this big and no pimples on their face. It's like, that's not real. And it's funny because I used to model and I modeled for years for most of my young adult life into my 20s. And I quit modeling because I did one photo shoot. And I always knew that they did a little bit of photoshopping here and there. But at some point, there was a point about like 5 years ago where photoshopping just went crazy, where everyone was photoshopping the crap out of photos. And, as a model, we don't always get to see all of our work. And I was looking online for this one photo shoot that I did because I love the photographer and there were some really cool clothes. And I was like, oh, there's probably some cool photos. I found the photos and they photoshopped everything about me, like everything. My eyes were like bigger and a little more separate. They lifted my eyebrows. It looked like I had a facelift. It was crazy. I was looking at it. I'm like, is that me? And I had this moment where I felt sick. Like I felt sick that they pay a model. I was a model, so I'm considered to be proportionate or whatever you want to say about models. And then they made me completely unrealistic to myself. Like they made my waist, which I already have a tiny waist. They brought it in to like a 24, 3 inches smaller. And then they made my hips out to here and my boobs out to here. And I was like, this is sick. It's sick what we are doing to ourselves. And the problem is women are flipping through. And now it's happening with men too, in GQ and all these magazines. They're photoshopping everything. Yeah. And people flip through and go, well, I don't look like that. So now they're going out and getting all these crazy surgeries and doing all these crazy things or being someone that they're not even close to being because they think that that's what society wants. But really, society is hungry for you. They want to see who you are. They want the truth. Like, I'm sick of the BS out there. I don't know if you are, but I'm sick of it, right? Like, especially in LA, we see a lot of that, right? We see a lot of people, like, pretending. And it's like, okay, show me who you really are because I'm way more interested in that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's those unrealistic expectations, and they change too. It's like, it's so subjective. It's like, back in the day, even like say for guys, it's the rugged guy with like the chest hair. Now
Totally.
it's more of the boyish guy. So it's like just continuously changing. We're just in the rat race of trying to live up to it.
For sure. I think about the whole thing like it's the butt thing now, where like girls are getting butt implants and butt injections and like wearing butt pads and all this butt stuff, right? And then I remember back in the day when Sir Mix-a-Lot came out with that song, Baby Got Back. And he did that in a time when it was like cool to have a small, tiny, skinny body with no butt. And it was like, if you had a butt, you were fat. And now it's like totally the opposite. And I'm just laughing to myself because the people who go out and are transforming their bodies in that way, what if 10 years from now it shifts again? Are you going to get them removed? Are you going to, like, when does it ever stop? Does it ever stop? And that's why it's like, oh, I get to embrace who I am, period. Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't.
Yeah.
But I still get to be myself all the time. And I don't have to worry about changing every day for someone else to approve of me.
Yeah, it's finding what's perfect to you versus other people and like trying to please them constantly. Yeah. And also, building on that mirror thing too, it's like a huge point, and you mentioned, is learning how to, approve of yourself. Like if if I ask someone like, hey, what do you like about yourself? One of the default responses is like, nothing. It's like actually making it a practice to zone in on what are the good features about you? What do you like about yourself? And kind of get in touch with that feeling of, in a way, gratitude. And it sounds so cheesy in the beginning. It's like, it's so cheesy. Like, I like this about myself. But it's something that, over the past, few years, I've forced myself to do, even if I hate it in the beginning. But that there is huge. Like, I highly recommend that one too.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Like, I used to be that way too. I used to hate cheesy stuff, or like, oh, that's so spiritual, it's annoying, I want to vomit. Like, that is totally me. I was like, oh God, I'd roll my eyes at anything like that. And now I'm here to tell anyone who's like that shit works. Like, it totally works. Say what you will about it, roll your eyes at it, do what I did for years, which was like, I was like the antithesis, get it away. No, I don't want to talk about. I used to laugh at people that were like, everything's good, I'm an optimist. I'm like, okay, have fun falling off your cloud when that happens. Like, that was totally me. And then I woke up one day and realized I was miserable. And like my realism was actually cynicism, and I was miserable. And it's like, okay, I can choose to be real and cynical, or I can actually choose to be happy. Wow, what a concept. And I can actually choose to love myself. Whoa, stop the presses. Like, that's actually okay. And that was a huge wake-up moment for me, and just realizing that I was creating my own misery, and I was creating my own discomfort. I was creating my own projections of this world that doesn't work, and we're always going to be in war. We're always going to hate each other. I created it because I was that, Yeah. I was in that separate spiritual concept of us versus them, versus when I got to the fact of, it's all connected. Like, no, we're not all one, right? Everyone's like, well, we're all one. We're not all the same one, but we're certainly not two, right?
Yeah.
It's like
we're all different facades of the one.
That's it. And it's all connected. It's all touching. Everything's touching. Plants. Everything. Everything is touching. And we can't think that what's happening in Paris and Syria and Nigeria and all over the world all the time, we can't think that we're separate from that. Like, we have created the world in which we're experiencing and calling real right now, based on how we are every single day with our family, with our loved ones, with the barista at the coffee shop, with whoever. Like, you're creating your reality. And if you're miserable and mean and short and separate from people, your reality is going to be that, period. And, people don't like hearing that. Like, people do not like hearing that they're responsible for their reality. But when they actually get that, and when I actually got that, and I hated hearing that because I like to be right a lot, in the past, now I'm like, oh, right, I created this. There's power in that. There's so much power in that.
Yeah.
It's huge.
No, I used to be the same. Like, for me, it was total separate, like me versus everyone else, extremely ego-based. And not only that, like, it's so cheesy, but I was like, I can just bend all the rules. That was like my whole view. It's like, I don't need to do all that stuff. I'll just cheat the system. But yeah, as you mentioned, like, you get caught in this very, low vibrational state of mind, and that's what you attract. And eventually it'll bite you in the ass.
Period. And it's like, oh, I want to be happy. I'm like, well, you don't get what you want, you get what you are.
Bang,
You know?
yeah.
So like, you don't like the reality you're living in, take a look in the mirror. Because whenever I'm feeling bad about myself or having a low day, I take a look in the mirror, and ultimately, if I'm honest, I can see how I'm creating that because I'm showing up a certain way that's inviting and attracting that into my life. When I'm like on fire, killing it, having a great day, feeling amazing, in a space of love, attracting incredible people in my life, you better believe I created that too.
Yes.
So I can create both. Like, we're powerful. I can create a miserable life or an awesome one. I'm going to go with awesome, even though it might seem cheesy to some people, because I like living an awesome life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll slowly wrap it with that. Just to kind of recap some of the big points, I'd say, as you mentioned, like, embrace your uniqueness. And I'd say that's big too. It's like, offer your uniqueness out there. Like, that's what adds, like, that's the value you have to offer. By you repressing that and trying to live up to everyone else, you're just withholding that. So it's like, offer the uniqueness, be okay with disapproval, stop running away from it.
Yes.
Like, fully, like, it's really not that bad. We're like, we tend to overblow it to like, oh, if people disapprove, it's going to kill me. But no.
I'm dead.
Yeah. So it's like, not at all. And then, I mean, just start putting yourself out there slowly. Remind yourself, like, contribution, like what you said, even with the videos, there were some where I looked horrible, some where I hated it, but I'm all like, what, is the message congruent? Is the message helping, will someone who watched this, will their life benefit from it? Yes. Put it out, ego aside, and value that above all else. Yeah. And then, learn to approve of yourself, write down, what you like about yourself, and just keep building that list. Make sure it's up to your standards, because that too will write down a list of things we like about ourselves, involving other people's opinions. So it's like, oh, they like this about me. Oh, would they approve? I guess this is good for everyone else. It's like, no, what's good for you? Like, what's your perfect? And yeah, exactly. And then, realize that there is no such thing as like universal perfect. It's subjective. It changes. Oftentimes it's the media that pumps it in your psyche to sell.
And the funny thing is there's so many people that, are like, screw the media, screw conventionalism. Like, they're those outcasts that want to do things different and they're rebels. But yet they buy into the idea of what the media is saying is perfect right now or cool right now. And I challenge people, because I challenge myself with this, is like, how can you show up as 100% you 100% of the time? And yes, it's scary as hell the first few times you do it, but it's so unique in this world and it's so rare that all of a sudden people are like, whoa, who are you? What are you, like, I need to know about you. Like, what are you up to? And I'll be frank, like, when I met Preston was not my ideal partner. I had my list of my ideal partner. He wasn't it. He didn't look like the type of person I was used to dating. He didn't sound like the type of person I was used to dating. He didn't dress like the type of person I was used to dating. Mm-hmm. But because he was so him, I was a magnet to that. I was like, you are so you, and it is so fascinating. Mm-hmm. And I admire that. And that's like another thing, like, just be you so unapologetically. And I've got loads of videos on my YouTube channel about this particular topic, because this was such a hurdle for me to get over. And it's such a big one for most of us. So yeah, if you need extra inspiration, it's there as well. You can check that out.
Yeah. I like that last point you mentioned too, with the, being like, okay, screw the mainstream, because in a way you're not buying into it in a way where you're buying into it, but you're also still reacting by defying it. It's like defense now, and then you're still living up to the opposite of that perfectional, standard.
Totally. Yeah, you're resisting it, but yet it's still driving your life.
Exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, thanks so much for sharing this. Once again, there's a link to your work here below. If you're watching this, check it out. And as always, until next time.